go through this article then. Every eternal and their mythological counterpart. And see,
But
so
it
this,
could be similar to the Druids.
Oh, there you go.
there you go, Circe and Circe, as Steph mentioned. Circe.
Or the other spelling CERCEI.
Yeah, CER, yeah. And this one Icarus and Icarus.
Yeah.
That one was more.
Sprite. Oh,
That is-
Spriggans. What's a
Spriggans.
Spriggans? Legendary creatures from Cornish fairy lore.
Yeah, so it wasn't just Peter Pan one.
Yeah.
Which
They
No,
just mentioned
meant
Peter
to
Pan.
be like a fairy.
Actually, Peter
kind of-
Pan
Yeah.
was actually inspired by this, apparently. So it's not like Peter Pan inspired this. It's the other way around.
And then it came back to Peter Pan. And
And it came back to Peter Pan, exactly.
Like Peter Pan, yeah.
Nice.
Indirect reference, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
just like Icarus, I think in some way also inspired Superman, but which kind of inspired this. But it's actually Icarus himself who originates everything.
Yep. Oh,
Kingo. Oh, who's Kingo?
Kingu.
Hollywood
Kingu,
star.
that guy.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's-
Babylonian god, Kingu.
Oh, there's a Babylonian god
The
called Kingu.
Babylonian god.
Kingu.
Oh, Chingu.
Actually, Tiamat is also a Babylonian goddess. or something.
Tiamat.
Like it was
Tiamat. Yeah.
that was the celestial being. Yeah.
That is what
Dude.
Jonathan said.
Mentioned
Mercury.
Mercury as well. in here.
He was actually a dragon in some games, Tiamat.
Mm.
The Druid. Yeah, the Druid.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It might
Oh, like
have
a
just been
druid?
talking about the Druids, not just
Oh.
Druid.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think about words.
Celtic.
So that's more Celtic though. That's
Or Irish. Yeah.
But it's not a clear counterpart of mythology, is what this.
Yep, so that's
says.
different. Yeah, based on something different as well.
So
Mm.
it's like a
Irish folklore.
bunch of things, not just Druids.
Mm.
Yeah, religious leaders, adjudicators, political advisors, yeah.
Hmm.
Festus.
Oh,
Oh,
Festus.
Hephaestus.
He was like some kind of smith or something.
Blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made the weapons for the rest of the gods,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just like what he's doing here for the Eternals.
in Mount Olympus.
He
in
was
Olympus.
married to Aphrodite at some point, I think.
Yeah, I remember the God of War game. He was like a big smithy guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it makes
blacksmith.
sense that he's like the guy who does the mechanics and the technology.
The science.
But in this one, he's more of like
Scientist.
the Tony Stark guy.
He's a
Mm.
Tony Stark.
Well,
Yeah, he's like the weapons guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Athena.
So,
It was obvious. That one, yeah.
Obvious, yeah.
That one was probably the most
Goddess
obvious
of War. Yeah.
because they did mention that as it was.
yeah.
Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh. No change.
Gilgamesh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same.
He's a hero in ancient Mesopotamian mythology.
Okay.
I mean,
Ajax is Ajax, not Ajax.
yes, Ajax.
Homer is from Homer's Iliad.
Weird. Yeah, Ajax, I do remember him as one of the Greek heroes.
Ajax the
Yeah.
Lesser.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So it's Greek
Well, the-
mythology as well.
Yeah,
the
oh,
Greek
yeah. So it's a combination of so many things, right?
It's a combination of a lot. So it's not just one mythology. They're mixing them all.
Yeah.
Good. It's a good. Yeah.
Interesting mix, that one.
It's good.
yeah.
They mix up
Which
different
is-
things.
Which kind of makes sense since a lot of the other heroes are also
Hmm.
Norse mythologies and all that.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
have the Thor sort of Norse mythology too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a view that modern day superheroes are like, well, superheroes today are like the modern day counterparts of those Greek gods.
Hmm.
So some people say that, like some people write books about it too.
Yeah.
So you know,
Well, in terms of the Norse mythology, they were not considered gods. They were considered guardians.
guardians, yeah.
It was just that when it was translated, they translated correctly to gods when it was meant to be just guardians.
Mm. But I mean, you know, whether it's gods or guardians, so you know, the modern day superheroes, they are like our version of those ancient, like mythical,
Yeah, modernized. Sort of
like exactly, yeah.
version.
I guess so, but it's well in the Norse mythology. Did they ever mention those guardians dying? Which is a difference to a lot of other cultures where they have a god which is like never dying.
Never dies. Yeah.
Like an immortal.
Yeah.
Just like these are
Well,
supposed
the
to be eternal.
superheroes, they definitely do die.
Yep, and in the Norse mythology, they do die as well,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is why they're considered guardians, not gods.
Not gods.
Even two of the Eternals died, so yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
All right. I give our
So-
ratings.
yeah, this
mean,
movie's packed and with all kinds of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Mm.
I hope Stellan comes back for Love and Thunder because I'd like to see his character back as well. So
But I guess they killed off Bill Skarsgård's character, but still Skarsgård is still around
still
in the MCU.
Mm.
Who knows?
Six
Oh.
singularities in the
Oh,
beginning.
so this is Benicio del Toro's character, right?
Yes.
The collector.
Yeah.
And he does mention this.
It's a
Yeah,
reference to the
yeah, the
stones.
six singularities, the
six
Infinity
stones, yeah.
Stones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so there's speculation that the Celestials are the ones who forged the stones then, right? So
Yep. Yep, I remember that the collector showed footage of a celestial with the power stone.
Yeah, that footage, that 5-second footage.
yes, Power
Yeah.
Stone.
Practically destroyed the whole planet with it.
Wow.
Huge.
And the Domo, ooh, this ship,
Oh, yep, the shit.
the Eternal ship is a Easter egg to comic book lore. Domo is the name of an Eternal who serves as an administrator on the Eternal's planet Olympia. So that's just a reference to another character.
But Olympia doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
made up. No.
or lied to.
So this
So-
crest,
Effectively, they're synths, is what they call them.
Yeah,
Synthetics.
synthetics.
Mm.
It does
Which,
make me
which
wonder.
which actually comes down to Loki's for this movie as well.
Yeah.
When he says, "Am I a robot and just not know it?"
Yeah.
Episode 1. It's like, are you a robot? No. Or am I? I don't know it.
Yeah. That's why, they asked that question, right? So that they must have been aware.
Mm.
Yeah.
The agents in what was the agency called?
TVA. Time-Variance Authority.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they would have been aware then of like Eternals and those. kind
Yeah,
of-
they would be.
But the Eternals, they still can develop feelings
Mm.
in the synthetics.
And they were supposed to be hunting down deviants themselves. So
Oh, Marvel references to the blip
Oh, yeah, they
and the
mentioned it
snap, yeah,
several times.
several times. Yeah.
so
The earthquake being related to the blip
mm,
being the
Hmm.
first one.
Yeah. And then there's a
the
scene,
Thanos
yeah.
snap thing.
Snap, yeah.
Mm.
mm.
This news from the World News. This again appears. I think it's appeared already in a few Marvel movies.
Yeah, I didn't really notice those things, but it's cool that they kept it
Good that Marcus does,
consistent.
yeah, good pick
I
up.
suppose they just keep it consistent.
Well, apparently even in WandaVision and
It's
Falcon,
the same network.
Well, it
It's
does
not the
seem like they
same.
kept it
Or-
consistent, so that's actually quite good. for
World
the
News
Marvel.
21
Good, yeah, good consistency.
news channel.
Like when Roxxon keeps showing up.
It's like
Oh,
Superman,
Doctor
right?
Strange.
Doctor Strange, really?
Doctor Strange is not a wizard.
Yeah,
Sorcerer.
Oh, yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
Sorcerer.
he's a sorcerer.
Sorcerer
Yes.
Supreme.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking of what
Yeah,
Sorcerer.
Vulcan what Vulcan said about sorcerers and
Wizards have
wizards.
hats. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no wizards. The Doctor Strange, he's a sorcerer.
Sorcerer, exactly.
Aha. A sorcerer is a wizard without a hat.
Babylon.
And then
Yeah, I like this scene.
Babylon. Oh,
had
nice.
Mesopotamia, Babylon.
Yeah, they spent a bunch of time in Babylon, the biggest city at the time.
oh,
500, was it 500 and something BC?
it's in the Bi- it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So great,
Um,
great CGI there.
Oh, this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Never
I mean, it's
can-
pretty
That
obvious
was
CGI. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yes. Sprite
yeah,
obviously
Peter
I
Pan
know,
inspired Peter
Sprite
Pan.
looks so much like Peter Pan.
Hey.
Well, they
like
mentioned that,
Tinkerbell.
that thing
Tinkerbell
about
and Peter
like
Pan. Yeah.
he's Tinkerbell because he's in love with
Icarus.
who would be Peter.
Yeah.
But yeah, because of that look,
Mhm.
obviously can't be with him at all.
Yeah. She even has like a pixie haircut. Just to reference that even more.
Well, at least it came from the movie guy,
Yeah.
which actually made more sense. So he
Mm.
would have been the perfect person to say this direct comparison. He could never be with him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did mention Thor as well. Huh?
Yeah, they did.
When did I mention? Did I?
When they were eating.
Battle of Tons-
Oh,
food-
there's a history with Thor. Okay. He died. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they were eating their
When they were
food
eating,
and stuff,
yeah,
and talking about it, that Thor used to follow him around. Or,
Kingo was, yeah.
Yeah,
big fan.
Kingo, yeah.
Thor visited Midgard and he was deeply impressed by the Eternals. Apparently.
Yeah, used to follow him around everywhere.
And here is your Superman
You
reference.
compare Superman reference.
Yes, yes. The
Marvel's
eyes,
reference,
heat
yeah.
vision. Yeah.
Well, they completely missed the BTS reference.
What? Which one? Oh,
Oh,
BTS.
just scroll up. Scroll. Is it?
What?
Just go up a little bit.
I think this thing completely missed the BTS reference, which
Okay.
was like about 5 seconds or so.
Obedience.
That's all right.
But
Oh,
we
yeah,
kind of know it was.
It'll probably come later.
Maybe.
Oh, it might be.
Circe and Icarus are introduced as Isaac and Sylvia.
Mm.
So,
Oh, okay. In the
What's that?
comics, they use the two aliases, Isaac and Sylvie.
Hmm.
Mm.
oh, okay.
Well,
So
I didn't
that's an
know
actual
this
comic book.
series too well in the comics, so
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, very
Icarus is
entertaining.
in-
Mentioning
That was funny.
vibranium.
It's
Vibranium.
IKEA.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
IKEA
IKEA.
Fall Collection. Come on.
That was hilarious.
It's an
IKEA.
amusing nod to the fictional
Fall
metal
collection.
found in Wakanda. It's just like an IKEA table.
Yeah, Marvel uses IKEA a lot.
Oh,
Oh, here you
Oh,
go.
right, it's like
Alfred
Alfred.
reference.
Yeah.
Captain America's shield is on Kingo's plane. Oh, really?
They're the older one.
I missed that actually.
Oh, the older one, not the
Yeah,
round
the
one.
older one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So not the vibranium one, just the wooden one. Oh, not wooden. I mean,
Prototype,
whatever it
prototype.
is.
No, the one which he used in that silly
the
skit.
show, in the propaganda thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
propaganda skit. Yeah.
Show.
showman,
thing.
showman, show the mini.
Showman. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that stupid skit.
Matt Right. Matt Eunice.
Disease among Eternals.
Yes, disease. It's a curse apparently of
Curse.
the Eternals in the comics.
Mm.
So it came from the
Yeah.
comics.
But how they explained it actually was quite good in this movie.
Yes.
Because what they were talking about, it was like she
Memories.
had mixed memories.
Or
but
overabundance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
much.
effectively, it was the memories of her previous life.
Yeah. And they're all resurfacing. Yeah.
So she actually knew what was going to happen before they found out Erisham was kind of bad,
Yeah.
trying to destroy the world.
Yeah. So all these kind of suppressed memories or that they tried to erase just came bubbling up and, confused her, I guess.
Went
Yeah.
wrong for Thena. Yeah.
Camelot, eh? Excalibur.
Yeah, a lot of Excalibur
Yeah,
references.
Excalibur. They
Sword.
mentioned Arthur had a thing
was-
for
she was-
Arthurian
get
legend, yes.
Athena.
So yeah,
Okay.
Captain Britain, Black Knight, all those characters, medieval characters.
Mm.
Cersei tells Dan
Yeah,
to reconcile.
but
with-
thinking about it, there is Arthur who is meant to be King Arthur in the Marvel comics as well, so he's still around
Mhm.
possibly.
yeah, yeah.
If they mention
Well, that'd be
Arthur,
interesting if they introduce him into the Marvel universe.
Hmm.
that is still a possibility if they mention him in this movie.
Mm.
Yeah, and with the introduction of Dan Whitman, right? Maybe they will open up that kind of world as well.
Mm.
With along with Blade.
Is
Okay,
he
what
a
does
descendant
this
of King
thing
Arthur?
say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
Oh.
does mention it. I just saw it. Mystical realm of Otherworld where Arthur now resides.
Mm.
Hmm,
So
yeah.
this one is considering
Otherworld.
that the other world where
Oh, okay.
the Arthur, which like Athena is residing.
Right,
Not
right,
not
right.
not the historical one.
Not the
just
historical one, the Marvel version.
the
Ju-
Marvel
just
version.
just
Marvel.
like Thor's,
Thor's.
just like Atlantis, right? Marvel version of Atlantis.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be different to DC's one. obviously.
Mm. Interesting. Mm.
Well,
Oh,
those
the
are
uncle.
mythological, so it goes either way.
Yeah, either way, you can just anyone can use it, right?
Who's his uncle?
Oh,
We don't
That's
know. It
something
just
I'm
says
curious about.
reconcile. That's it. In the comics, though, his uncle is John Garrett, a criminal
Oh.
who used the ebony blade to bring disgrace to the name of Black Knight.
Mm.
Okay. And he
John
inherited
Garrett.
the blade from his uncle in the comics. The celestial seed inside the earth.
Okay.
Yes, good concept there.
Oh yeah, this is concept is from the another miniseries.
But if you think John Garrett, he was also in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, I was thinking, is that his name though? Is it John
Actually, it was,
Garrett?
I think it was Garrett, but I'm not
Oh,
sure it was
just
John.
Garrett?
Though.
Yes, John Garrett. I remember this.
You remember?
pretty
Okay,
sure.
I remember there
But
was a
this-
Garrett, Agent Garrett in Agents of
But
Shield.
that's
Yeah.
weird though, because he
So
can't be
this-
that old in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, but they
Um,
killed him in Agents of Shield, as well as the actual actor died.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
okay.
in real life.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Oh, that's sad. Okay. Mm.
But probably a different, I don't know, version of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe, yeah.
Time
I'll
Lord
just
is-
double check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it
I
was.
guess-
Yeah, it was Agents of Shield guns. John Garrett.
Yeah,
That's
John
correct.
Garrett. I remember that season 2 or 3. Yeah, I think.
Hmm.
But I guess Marvel
was
Agents of Shield is
season
not
1.
canon yet, so
Yeah, that was season 1 though.
Season 1. That's so long
season
ago.
1, that early on. Yeah,
Yeah, that early on.
yeah. I guess Agents of the Shield is not canon yet, so yeah, they can make another John Garrett.
This
Yeah.
pose from the comics, which he, because at the end when
That
he was
looks,
being
yeah, too
restrained,
much expression
when
for
he
me.
was being restrained, yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
that's a classic pose of Icarus. And he flies in the sun, which, as you know,
Yeah.
is
The old
Just like
saying he flies too close to the
too
sun.
close. And in this version, he actually did fly too close and end up burning his wings. Well, he died, right, in this one, presumably.
Yeah.
And his wings melted. Just like the Greek legend.
Yeah, it was a legend.
Hmm.
Pip the Troll. Yes, we talk about Pip the Troll. Patton
Who
Oswalt.
knows? Who knows where the fable of Icarus comes from?
Who knows what?
famous
Who
one.
knows where the
Necros.
fable of Icarus comes from?
The Greek legend.
The legend?
Yeah,
Icarus.
Icarus.
yeah. Who wrote it?
Oh, who wrote the Greek legend?
Sure.
Isn't it
That'd be too old that I would know.
what's his name? The Icarus.
Hi, everyone's
Some philosopher.
Googling now.
Cheating.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear all the Google.
Greek. Classic literature. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of historical stuff because it is actually still a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who wrote it?
Yeah, who wrote it, man?
Was it from some sort of
Well, it's an ancient Greek
It's an
legend. So
ancient Greek legend.
Yeah.
but it's not
It's
like
spelled with a
not
C.
from Homer, it's not from Sophocles, it's not from someone that
Not
a well-known Greek writer, right?
probably not. We don't really know.
No, no one knows. Yeah.
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 So it's not attributed to a particular writer.
Yeah, does Google actually know? Probably.
No, it just says it's Greek mythology.
It's
Yeah,
just
so yeah, they don't know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
But what Marvel does, they take the old mythologies and stuff and they mix it to their
Yeah,
advantage.
make
They
it their
play
own.
around with it. They make it their own.
Yeah.
Fuse it to the which is cool.
Which is kind of cool for like these types of mythology that they actually can bring a bit of life to the legends, even though
Yeah.
it's not not realistic,
not really-
but fun for like superhero movies.
I think it's fun, yeah.
Firefox
Firefox
and
is Eros.
Ebony Blade
Eros.
and Blade.
Okay,
Actually,
Blade.
and there's no mention of BTS.
Hey, what's your rating?
Oh, my
Yeah.
right.
Give your
Yes.
rating before you go.
For the movie. Yeah, I think that I'd probably, yeah, it was kind of long and drawn out.
Yes.
I'd probably give it 6 or 6.5.
Yeah, sounds right.
Sounds reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, about a 6, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty long, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
it
long.
was,
Quite
but
long.
it is trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
Which I actually do like more than having like hardly any story and just mindless action.
Yeah, true.
I do like the story elements of this one.
Yeah.
It definitely it makes the characters more interesting and their motivations and stuff. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely need more dialogue and screen time because of so many characters as well.
Yeah, it works with this many characters. If it was just a mindless action one, without knowing more of the characters, it would have probably been not a great movie.
Mm.
Yes.
Otherwise, you end up with something like Godzilla versus Kong.
And that was absolutely horrible. You
Yeah,
watch that movie for the kaiju battle, nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
like because
The
if you
story
have
was
no character,
horrific.
no
Yeah.
backstory, that's the kind of movie you end up with. So this is like
I
at
was
least
trying to look at a line between where they would and wouldn't interfere with humans. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean that was interesting that they all had like different sort of,
But they
Okay.
explained why they wouldn't interfere.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. Why they didn't interfere with
With the human evolution.
Okay.
yeah.
Endgame, the snap, and
Yeah.
the Battle of New York, and all that
But-
stuff.
So like fighting Thanos, they mentioned
Yeah.
that as well.
Fighting
Why
Thanos.
didn't
Yeah,
they
but
do that?
I like how they give the
5,000
explanation. Yeah.
They explained it.
5000 BC,
Mm.
they gave
I see.
that guy a golden metal knife.
Which ended up being historical.
Mm,
Golden metal knife.
yeah. That was in the museum.
Oh,
It ended up
With
being in the
people.
museum, so it became a historical thing when they went to the modern times.
oh, right. they
Because that was
kind of like
history.
affected history in some way.
Because you had that beginning moment, and then the flash forward essentially.
Yeah, so you see the knife, she takes a picture of it with her phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
A
yeah.
few thousand years later, right?
Yeah. Feels
How many
Mhm.
years,
yeah.
how many
So-
years would that knife have been in use for, though?
They have been in use for, we have no idea. It's a maybe that does not have to be explained, but we know it's 7,000 years old.
Yeah.
Just the fact that
knife,
it's that old is cool. Yes.
knife, and then
Eternals.
they've got muskets and plow. Yeah. Anyway, such is life. As Ned Kelly famously once said before he dropped dead.
Yeah.
Kelly's last words, such is life.
Mm,
Then he dropped dead.
Well, again, this is a movie, so nothing reflects
All right.
true to life.
All right, Bill. See
Yeah.
you.
Bill, have a good night and
Yeah,
Have
have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
See you probably tomorrow for Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett, Book of Boba
Yeah,
Fett,
yeah.
chapter 4, right? Chapter 4 or 3?
Three, yeah.
3.
Number
Sure,
3. Yeah. Number 3 tomorrow night.
Number 3, yeah.
Hopefully, more of the twins. That'll be good.
Yep.
All right. I'll
Right.
see you guys tomorrow night.
See ya.
Right night. Okay.
Bye.
Later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, Bill.
Where's my escape button? I can't find my escape button. Oh, there we are. Leave meeting. Bye bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right. So maybe we should get on.
Oh,
Well, Bill
wrap
already
up.
gave his
Oh, that's
score,
first.
so
Is it fun to wrap up and raging? Yeah.
we'll because
Yep.
it's close to 1 o'clock anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put you on to your face.
Bernie.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed the movie overall. A lot of good story elements, good dialogue,
Mm.
good drama. So give it 7 out of 10.
7. Okay, that's a good score. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. That's a good score. Decent.
Mm.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it around that as well. Maybe 7. Maybe I'll lift it to 7.5 just because as a DC fan, I like the fact that this gave me a lot of DC action that I always
Yeah.
imagine in my head, but never got to see in actually a DC movie.
Understand. Yeah.
Like the Flash versus Superman scene, you know.
Yeah. it's finally got
But other than that, like yeah, I do like the fact that this movie feels very grand, like the grand scale. I think it's far grander than any other Marvel movie in terms of scope. You know, it spans thousands of years, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I kind of
there's a lot
admire
of
that
grandness.
about this film. So you know, it's different, but I think in a good way. Even
Yeah.
though a lot of people say it doesn't feel like typical Marvel movie with the, because Marvel movies have that mix of like action and humor. This one has
yeah.
more drama,
Mm.
with a little bit of humor and you know some action, but I think it's different in a good way. So I'll give it a 7.5.
Oh, cool. That's high. Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of a harsh reviewer, so I actually was giving this movie a 6
Wow.
until I saw the cut in the
Pretty high.
supposed IMAX version of this movie.
Oh, you can't just
I'm
drop the
enhanced.
score
Yeah.
because of that.
You saw it.
You have to
Yeah.
review it based on maybe the theatrical one that you saw.
Well, then it's a 6, but effectively, if you're trying to watch an IMAX enhanced version on a
Okay.
21:9 screen, which is specifically made for widescreen formats, it looks
See-
horrible because you have black bars on the sides.
Yeah, but that's because of you, just you, right? Because for the rest of us, it's the normal widescreen size, and so
Yeah,
it actually fits
I
perfectly.
ended up putting it to my other screen, which is just the standard 16:9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Which you do get a tiny bit of bars on the top and
Yeah,
bottom.
just a little bit.
The
yeah.
black line. Yeah.
But the time it keeps changing between the two was just
Yeah.
too jarring. It was still quite annoying to me.
Oh.
I
Actually,
cannot stand it.
I noticed the
even
change.
did you guys even notice the
I
change?
noticed the change, but it didn't bother me actually.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too jarring
Yeah.
for me,
Mhm.
but yeah, I did notice it though. It's like
Yep,
it's
but
weird
for
voice.
movies, which when I like consistency, that was just horrific.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So in terms of the viewing experience, not as good.
Yeah, viewing experience on this screen, like it doesn't work on either screen because you're either having a widescreen
Yeah.
experience and then it gets cut to a square,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or have
Or
a
have a shift.
widescreen, a small widescreen experience and it shifts to like a bigger.
I think
one,
the
which
shift is better. Like then, because if you, yeah, the other one you actually lose some of the. I think you actually lose, isn't it? If you zoom in
Yeah.
some of the picture.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
but either way, it doesn't look good on either screen. They was switching between the two, seeing which one would felt better. I didn't feel comfortable with either.
Mm.
Okay.
But I think if it's a movie, just do it in one aspect ratio.
Yeah, I
mix and
mean,
match. It doesn't work.
yeah, but that means that they'll just have to shoot everything, you know, on like IMAX or just shoot it widescreen.
It gets too expensive then.
Maybe it's a question of budget. I
A
don't
two and
know.
a half hour movie.
Yeah.
Quite expensive otherwise.
I understand the consistency. Yeah.
Yeah, in consistency terms, it's just horrific.
Apparently, Disney Plus is gonna turn all like I think 13 of the movies into this format.
Oh,
Oh,
oh no.
Well, only if they have the footage for it.
Yeah, I think the
Only-
newer ones,
yeah.
newer ones they do. Yeah.
Only if the cameras which they shot the movie with have that ability.
Hmm.
They can't add quality where there isn't any. So if they did mix and match with the cameras, it's going to be I would say a big jumbled mess of good, bad experience.
But look, surely it's better than having the square format, right? This is definitely because square you actually lose even more on the sides.
No one has the square format anymore. That's 4:3.
Yeah, well, when we saw Justice League Snyder Cut, that's exactly what happened. Remember?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
So I'm saying that like this is good because all of us have.
Yeah, but
Widescreen
essentially,
TVs.
if they shoot a movie in 4:3, then they could cut it to whatever aspect ratio they need. It's the perfect ratio to cut a movie into
Yeah, but then
whatever
you-
ratio they need.
But then if you cut, you lose the top and bottom, right?
Yes, you do.
so
But
that's
it,
it.
yeah, but it doesn't matter for the director because when they release it, then they could choose if they want to
Yeah,
do it
yeah,
as a
yeah.
16:9
Yeah,
or
if
the
they want to
full
cut it,
IMAX.
yeah.
yeah. But on
Because
TV,
that-
screen.
Yeah,
only have
that gives you the
one
perfect
TV.
ratio for the actual cuts.
Mm.
Anyway,
But still, it would be a 5.5 to 6.
Okay.
so just say 6. Run it up to 6.
You round up to 6.
That's pretty good for you.
well,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Next rating.
Still there?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe Steph.
I'll give my rating then. 6.5 for me. So yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it, especially because it had more of the story elements. But I guess, yeah, I guess for some people I can understand why they didn't like it because there wasn't that much action in comparison to other
Yeah.
Marvel movies.
It's a
Um,
bit more slow going. as
So if
well.
that was your expectation going in,
Mm.
and then it sort of didn't really meet that.
Mm.
But it's pretty good in terms of the plotting and sort of not giving away, the villain sort of thing
Oh yeah, that twist.
until the end.
Mm,
Like
yes,
that
that
twist.
twist.
So at least no one spoiled that sort of thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of good to have that twist in the end and then just
Yeah.
set up for the next, Blade or the Black Knight movie.
Yeah, I
And-
mean that's the thing, right? Like for most of the movie, it just felt like its own standalone thing. But at the end credits, that's when you kind of see a little bit more setup and connectedness to the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, but they were also mentioning
were
events
also
from other
connections.
movies
There are
as
the
well.
movies. But
so
very
it's still that
small.
connection.
They
Very
mentioned,
small
Yeah,
connection.
Thanos,
so there is that connection.
It's
So
not,
there
it's
is
like
connection
even if you don't know, it's yeah.
Well,
No-
they
no
did
big deal.
mention that the earthquake was a possibility of like
Yeah.
side effect of the blip.
yeah.
How about Jeff, James,
Yeah.
if still
Yeah.
there or not?
James,
Yeah.
Jeff.
I don't know what their ratings were.
Yeah, I can give. I think I'll give yeah 7.5 maybe.
Ooh, same as
7.5.
me.
Yeah,
High.
I
Pretty high.
like it. First of all,
Right,
Gemma
pretty good.
Chan was the main character. So I
Oh,
thought
you
that-
like Gemma Chan?
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah.
I thought she did a pretty good job in this major role. I
She's
would
known
say.
for playing she was in the British TV show
Oh yeah.
when
Oh,
she
yeah,
plays a synth as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's similar role.
Yeah,
similar role.
well.
exactly.
Okay.
She's good at playing that kind of role. Like
Yeah.
an
That
android.
was the
synth.
show Humans.
Humans. That's
Yeah.
right. Humans.
Okay.
Like she played the robot.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Yeah, she
Robot
was a robot.
Who
so-
eventually
yeah.
has developed feelings.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, same thing is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
kinda,
practically the
kinda.
same thing. She was a synth, which you didn't even
Yes.
know it.
exactly.
job.
That's probably why they chose her.
To roll now.
Yeah,
Mm.
But Gemma Chan is practically British, like British.
Yeah, yeah.
Asian.
Yeah.
the British and a lawyer as well.
I mean, that's her natural accent. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's her natural
Oh yeah,
accent.
yeah. Recommend. And
She
also
grew
like
up British.
I also like it
Because-
because it's a lot of other famous people.
Oh, like Angelina Jolie,
Angelina,
Salma
Salma
Hayek,
Yeah, some of the classic
It
stars.
was
Classic.
pretty. Yeah, it was pretty.
star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and the Bollywood actor is actually a
Oh, that guy.
Bollywood actor as well,
Oh,
like a
yes.
proper one.
Okay, 7.5 from Jeff. IGN is a 7. The Rotten Tomatoes is the worst ever score for a Marvel movie, 47.
Oh, okay.
So this is the lowest rated
Wow, that's low.
Marvel movie so far.
Yeah.
Audience
Hmm.
is kind
But the
of
audience-
better, much better.
But
Yeah.
the audience was pretty much around the IGN score as well. Like it's
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So exactly what we said. Why people might not like it because of all those reasons we mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
interesting that some critics actually don't like it. So it's on average either good or bad. They can't really make a choice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's sitting at about 5.
5.
I think
What
it's
you
that
think,
mid range. If you average the two scores.
Yeah, they already averaged the scores to 47, but that's practically 5.
Okay. There you go. Wow, it's really late. I think we're done. But it's sort of like what DC tried to do with Justice League, where they try to have every single one of them appear together before introducing them separately first.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
so
but DC didn't do that.
yeah, and so some people say Eternals is the movie that Warner Brothers were envisioning Joss Whedon to actually make, but didn't turn out the way that they wanted. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the
So
Justice
that was the
League
approach they
was.
wanted originally for Justice League.
because it's like
Yeah.
because Justice League is sort of doing what this is doing, right? Like just
Yeah, introducing a lot of characters
introducing
and
so
put it
many
all
characters
together.
in one movie.
But this movie was definitely far better than the Justice League movie was because
Oh,
that
yeah.
was just a complete mess.
Yeah, theatrical version was just like
Now,
cut-
having
cut
said
it,
that,
you know,
though,
like
Joss Whedon.
it's terrible.
having said that,
that.
there are a lot of DC references in this movie,
Oh yeah, it's got
especially Superman,
Lots-
them
Yeah,
name
yeah.
drop.
His character, his
Lots
powers,
of
right?
Alfred,
He's so much
Superman.
like he's so much like Superman.
Kind of nice
And-
to even jokes about
Yeah,
calling him
should I
Clark.
call you Clark?
And
Because I
interestingly,
don't wear
Chloe
tape.
Zhao herself, she loved Man of Steel, and because when you see Icarus when he was doing his move in the air, like just the jump,
When he
the
flies.
flying and the punching, it
Mm.
just felt so much like if you've seen Man of Steel, that's exactly how
Yeah,
he
that
moves
is
in the air.
really very much. It did
Yeah.
remind me of that. I was like, oh, this is like a Superman move.
Yeah, and she said
Marvel's version
she
of
really
And
loved
then the lasers coming out of his eyes, which of course
exactly
Superman has
exactly.
as well.
the guy.
Like,
Yeah.
The flying as well.
And the Batman
That's very
reference
much-
as well.
yeah, yeah, and they mentioned that.
Like Alfred and Batman.
Oh yeah.
Alfred and
valet,
Batman,
few-
Superman,
Quite a few
Clark,
DC references. Yeah.
Curran is.
and I mean, you
Which
didn't
means DC is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe only as comics.
Yeah, it's a
as comics
reference.
or as TV shows, maybe.
Yeah, either as comics or TV shows, yes.
It's funny.
But don't you think that that there are so many characters that felt, for instance, Dina, right? Wonder Woman. There's a Wonder Woman vibe there, and
Yeah.
also the
Nope,
lady.
that was definitely not a one-on-one.
Wonder
yeah,
Woman
yeah, but
Where?
but
which
you
one
can
do
see
mean?
the
There's
like,
some parallel there. with
parallel, right? And also the
Batman.
flashy lady.
Oh, Flash. That's Makari. Yeah, for sure.
Makari is
That's
the
Flash.
Flash.
Macari,
Marvel's version
I
of
guess so,
Flash.
yeah.
That's the thing.
And some people say, we got the Flash Superman fight that we didn't get to see.
Okay.
Yeah, but essentially with Marvel, there's so many like speedsters as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Quicksilver, so it's not like.
Well, we
that's
have
like-
two different Quicksilvers.
and then we have two different types of them. So yeah,
And now
But
we have,
the way that
Sorry.
she moves with the whole lightning and everything, that's just so similar.
But I don't think she has Flashpoint though, right?
No.
Flashpoint. No, no Flashpoint. And the mid-credit scene, the who's that guy? Star Fox.
Eros.
Arrow.
Thanos. I didn't know
So-
Thanos had a brother. Like,
Thanos.
what? In
Well, I
fact, it
mean,
doesn't
I
mention him.
guess,
So,
yeah,
it was a
Eros,
surprise,
interesting.
surprise character appearance.
Well, I
But
did
he's
read
also
a
an
few
Eternal.
comics where Thanos did have a brother, but it wasn't Eros. It was some other purple guy.
And it's interesting that they got Harry Styles, right, to
Yeah, that was interesting.
Oh,
play
And then they have Pip the Troll, which I guess is part of the comic.
Star Fox, Eros. Eros, also known as Star Fox, the brother of Thanos and Marvel's version of the God of Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like this in the
Yeah, so that looks like
Pip,
he's
Pip
a
the Troll.
character as well.
Wait a minute, they got
He's got the hand in
him for Pip the Troll. Wow, Patton Oswalt.
Pip and Star Fox.
it.
They actually got Patton Oswalt for Pip.
Mm.
Nice.
Oh, the actor.
Patron also. Yeah.
Interesting. So they got Harry Styles for Star Fox
Mm.
and also the other guy.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt.
Pip-
Who
Motion
is-
capture.
yeah.
Motion capture.
Who already is actually in Marvel already.
Oh,
Patton Oswalt. He's
I mean, he's CGI'd here, so we don't recognize
this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was in Agents of Shield, right?
Yeah, he was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He had the many brothers as like that agent. Many
It's just
brothers
that
who looks
he
exactly
did-
the same.
Because in the troll, he doesn't look as chubby as the troll, but maybe he's just doing motion capture.
Yeah, he was probably doing motion capture, and since it's an animated character, people won't really notice.
it's more of like an animated character there.
Yeah.
we can't hear at the moment, actually. Okay.
Huh? What?
But it'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of, how they'll kind of move that story forward. What are they gonna do on the because he's one of the Eternals that they discovered, I guess, or who
Yeah.
emerged after,
Well, they're not Eternals, but they found the Eternals.
They found the Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they know where they are. Yes,
Now we can
so
hear.
they know.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we know there are other Eternals on other planets, and so those are
I think there's hundreds of Eternals
they
in other
could
galaxies.
start emerging and
Oh, that is
Um,
the channel.
with emergences.
Eternals.
Yeah, emergence of many different Celestials around the galaxy.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh,
You talking about Pip, right? Pip, yeah, he's played by
Oh, yeah,
Patton
Pip.
Oswalt,
Yeah, Patton
also
Oswalt.
from Agents of Shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the thing
Uh-huh.
is with the Celestials, they have been mentioned before in the other movies.
Oh.
In the case of Guardians of the Galaxy, one of them once held an Infinity Stone.
Swallowed an Infinity Stone. Sorry, did you say swallow?
He held an Infinity Stone. One
Okay.
of the Celestials held an Infinity
Okay.
Stone to destroy everything.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
That was practically the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Right.
Yeah,
That was
it's
the
been a
right-
while, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Years ago. But,
And
um,
the dad of Peter Quill said that
Quill?
he was a Celestial, but he is not.
Oh.
Mm. So this
And
is
as well in
Peter.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2,
oh, his father.
they went to
Peter.
he's not a Celestial, but in 1 and 2, the planet Nowhere,
Mm,
I fly nowhere.
if you know Nowhere,
mm,
the head, what's the head from?
yeah.
It's a dead Celestial.
Mm. Mm,
So the Celestials have been around in the movies already.
Mm.
We just now know the differences between what the Eternals are, who were created by the Celestials,
Well, who also created the Deviants? So,
who basically created Deviants.
Oh, Kingpin.
no, Deviants.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
no. So,
But
Celestials,
yeah,
as,
it's
as
interesting.
they explain in the movie, the Celestials, they created the Deviants and the Eternals.
and both, yeah.
to balance out the.
Hey, Adam Warlock, he
Yeah.
was he? Did he ever appear?
No.
somewhere?
Not
But-
in here.
Apparently, this credit scene might be setting up Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How is it?
Well, we're not seeing the gold guy anytime soon.
Gold guy.
Yeah, Adam Warlock.
Okay.
Didn't he appear in one end credits?
Yeah, he did
Someone-
at the end of Guardians of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of
Yeah,
Galaxy
yeah,
two.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
But we don't
Not-
see the face.
We don't see the face, but we do know it's him because it's gold, right?
He's called, yeah.
Well, we don't see the face, but they did call him Adam,
Adam, yeah,
so
exactly.
we know it's Adam Warlock.
Must be
Yeah.
Adam Warlock. Yeah.
At that point, had they cast Adam Warlock? Like maybe there was a
No.
reason they didn't show
They
his face
didn't.
because they didn't have the casting yet.
Well, he's been cast now. We know who it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It
That's
wasn't
good cast.
cast at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
So
good
that's probably
casting.
why they didn't show his face. Like how
There's
Because
could
the
good
thing
chance
is,
that
Pete,
you,
Pete is Adam Warlock's sidekick, and
Mm.
so we
Good
get
chance that
this
he'll
association there. Yeah.
appear in Guardians 3.
Guardians
Warlock.
3, yeah.
And considering the Guardians of the Galaxy game featured Adam Warlock as well.
well, we know it's now gonna be Will Poulter. There was speculation before.
Yep.
I mean, like, or they thought there was gonna be Zac Efron, but then it turned out to be Will Poulter.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
actually, the Blade, because there was a voice of Blade, so he was actually supposed to appear in person, but they just decided to have his voice.
Voice.
So it's been confirmed now that it was Blades.
Yeah, it's Mahershala
Mahershala.
Ali's voice.
So that's
Yeah,
the-
because there was a lot of speculation before of who that was.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's confirmed. It's
Mm.
pretty
Who's
much
Blade?
confirmed. Blade, do you remember the Wesley Snipes Blade in the 90s?
So the ebony
Yeah.
blade was mentioned.
The
in
new
movie
blade.
as well.
Well, yeah, the blade, right? The sword.
The sword.
Blade, yeah.
Well, Blade's a Marvel figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ebony Blade, Black Knight. So that's Dane's character,
the Black Knight.
Dan Whitman. But he hears a warning from Blade. So there's something about Blade.
Yeah, I mean it's not Excalibur, so it's a different kind of blade.
Not Excalibur, it's the Ebony Blade.
Well, they did play with Excalibur.
They did. Yes.